Each week when Supernatural's done, make sure you know what went on. Listen to Heather and Eric, get the salt nose for sure.
This has been one hell of a week.
Is it? Is the week over?
I feel like I have been going nonstop, even like through the weekend. I feel like I've been going nonstop.
Yeah.
For, I don't know, 6 days. We are so far behind with the podcast.
We are, because we were supposed to record this, almost a week ago now. I don't even remember what the damn episode is about. I've completely forgotten the episode because now it's been a week.
Well, this episode was season 1, episode 8's Bugs.
Oh, the bugs, right.
Yes.
Well, also another reason I don't remember, because I didn't like it.
I remember this episode. I remember liking it. It wasn't that bad. But the one thing I remember, what this episode brought back memories for me was the scene from Indiana Jones from the Temple of Doom where he sticks his hand into, or the lady, I forgot the lady's name, but in the Indiana Jones movie, she has to stick her hand through this small little
Isn't
tunnel.
Her name Marion?
I don't know.
Does that sound right, or am I just making that up?
I've never, maybe. What's the name?
Marion?
No, not Marion.
No, who's Marion from? Oh, that's Robin Hood.
Well, she sticks her hand in order to keep Indiana Jones and the little Asian kid from getting squashed. She has to pull his lever, but she has to short round.
That's the little Asian kid.
Oh, is that
right?
the name they gave him? I don't remember the name they gave him, but she has to go into this little
making everything up.
This little tunnel to pull this lever to make sure that they don't get squished or whatever. But in that little tunnel, little thing, it's full of bugs and maggots and worms and spiders and crickets, and they're crawling all over her. And I remember, it was one of the grossest scenes, and that literally
you're freaking me the F out right
gave
now.
me nightmares for literally years.
Oh.
It was crazy, but that's what this episode reminded me of. It technically really isn't a monster of the week type episode. It's more like monsters plural, or no, there's no monsters. It was a curse.
It was a curse.
Yeah.
Curse of the week.
Yeah, so the curse, again, well, this is going to actually be a shorter podcast because we are so busy, or at least I am, that I have barely any time to record this one today. So you will get a very quick, short, condensed version of this story. So,
are you kidding me? Like, officially, I stopped getting paid an hour ago, and yet I'm still here. So
the whole idea of this episode was the fact that there was an Indian burial ground that was moved, or
your
Indians,
typical ancient Indian burial ground trope.
Yeah, well, actually, it wasn't an Indian burial ground. What it was, Indians were moved to a different location. They were relocated from one spot to another. Then they were slowly murdered.
Yeah,
until none were left in that spot.
As happened a lot back then. Americans really.
We leave those parts out of the history books for sure.
Oh. We're kind of dicks.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I've heard stories. My dad actually works for not a casino, but he works for the tribe.
Uh-huh.
And
we have a lot of those around us.
Yeah, he tells, I guess the guy he's close to tells him stories of things that really messed up stuff that Americans did to the Native Americans, and I was like, whoa, it's pretty bad.
We did messed up stuff to so many. It's amazing, honestly, how far we came in just couple hundred years.
Yes.
Because and we're still dicks to a lot of people too.
So
but damn.
they end up the Americans end up killing off these Native Americans, and the last guy standing was some sort of shaman or whatever, and put a curse that no white man will ever.
There's always a shaman.
Yeah, always.
There's always a shaman with a curse.
That no white man would ever live in this area where these people were building this housing complex. So the first scene we see is a guy who falls into this little pit and gets consumed by bugs. Now I was like,
with the guy from Being Human on Sci-Fi. I forget his name, but I love him, and shout out to him 10 years later.
Shout out to him.
You probably hadn't been on Being Human yet when you recorded this, when you did this episode. But shout out to you, special guest star, whose name I can't remember, but I still love.
I mean, that has to be one of the worst ways to die. I mean, I think worst ways of dying are drowning. I think is number one. Maybe being set on fire. Stabbed is a big one.
Well, I think it depends on where you're stabbed.
Well,
because if you're stabbed in a place where it doesn't kill you quickly, then chances are you can get help and survive. If you're stabbed in a place where there's no chance of saving you, like severing a damn artery, you're gone pretty quick.
The thing is, was getting stabbed is like you see it coming, and then it goes inside of you.
Not if
they
Black
take
Widow
it
is the
out,
one killing
and they
you.
come back in. They keep on going.
No.
I think it's pretty horrible.
Natasha Romanoff comes up and stabs you. You're dead. You never even know what happened.
But getting eaten alive, or your brain's eaten out by bugs, and that was very quick death.
Just the
too.
bugs crawling all over you.
That's enough for you.
And then into my ears. I need a Q-tip. This is not. Ugh.
Well, the I think one of the biggest parts of this episode is the fact that you get to hear a lot about Sam and Dean's relationship with their dad, and really how much Sam can't stand his dad. The thing is that, and I took time to think about this, was the fact that I think I understand why Dean is so much closer to his dad, or willing to do whatever his dad says rather than Sam, because Sam was a baby. He never even knew his mom.
Mm-hmm.
He has
6 months old.
He really has
on his 6-month birthday.
He has zero attachment towards her.
Yeah.
Really never met her or got to know her or whatever.
Right.
So he really doesn't. He grew up without a mom, so he has really no emotional attachment to his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since he can remember, his dad's been a dick.
Yeah.
Where Dean grew up with, at least how old was Dean? 5? It was 6.
I mean, Dean's not that many years older. He's still pretty young, but old enough to,
I'm sure he remembers his mom. I'm sure he
does.
Seen the horrific scene on the ceiling of the room, and he knew his dad when he was a normal dad.
Right.
So I feel like that's the reasoning maybe why he.
And because when I look at this episode in particular, where Sam says like, "Oh, reminds you of anybody? Sounds exactly like Dad," and Dean's like, "Dad's nothing like that."
Right.
This episode reminds me so much of me and my sister and our relationship with our mother, where it's like we knew two completely different people.
Right.
Same person, same household, raised together. It's like we knew two different people. So, I mean, I can totally see that, just not even based on age. Yeah. Although it's the opposite. I'm older than her by 6 years, and I'm definitely the Sam, where I had so many issues with my mother, and my sister was like BFF.
Well, I mean, your story sounds exactly like what they're going through right now. He starts questioning why, he made such a big deal about him going off to college when his dad, or he had a scene about bow hunting, like, I didn't want to go out bow hunting when I was a kid. He's like, why? And then Dean's like, it was an important skill to learn. You have to learn how to bow hunt.
Yeah.
He'd rather go. I think he wanted to go in like this school or something.
And it's that thing where the parent decides what's best for you. Like, okay, summer vacation. I always wanted to, on my school vacations, sit inside and read books. Like, I got the new issue of Sweet Valley High came in the mail. Like, I want to sit down and read this shit. My mother thought that's not what kids should be doing. Kids should be outside playing. So you shouldn't be reading your books. Like, I'm like, she's like, you're on vacation. Vacation is a time to play. I'm like, I thought vacation was a time to do what you actually wanted to do. I thought vacation was when I got to do what I wanted instead of doing what everybody else told me to do. Yep. So it's that kind of thing. John Winchester, Dad thinks this is what you should be doing, and Sam's like, but that's not what I want to do.
Sometimes I even catch myself with my daughter, like, telling her, like, for example, she was riding her bike, and she couldn't, like, get the bike going, so she was trying to, like, to nudge herself forward. I was like, no, you have to, like, put the top of your foot underneath the pedal and kind of lift up and push and move yourself forward. And she's like, no, I don't want to do it that way. She was trying to scooch herself forward. Mm-hmm. And I caught myself because I was like, my dad was kind of the same way, where it was like his way or the highway. Yeah. And I was like, no, this is how you need to do it. This is the way to do it. And she's like, no. And I'm like, started kind of getting mad. I was like, why am I getting mad over something like this? Like, eventually she was able to do it herself, but I mean, sometimes that's what the way parents are. They kind of feel like they know what you should be doing. Right. Sometimes they really don't realize it. But then I caught myself, and I was like, okay, I'm being a douche. I cannot do this to this little 3-year-old kid.
Yeah. It's just, that's what I always got, like, all the time, is like, well, this is what people, like, kids your age want to do. This is what kids your age do. And I'm like, but I don't want to. So leave me the fuck alone. Like, why can't I just, if I do everything that I have to do, why can't my free time be what I actually like to do?
I agree.
But anyway, so yeah, look, I've got a lot of emotional issues with this sort of stuff. Look, I should be in therapy at least 3 times a day, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, and there's another line in there that Sam had where he talks about, oh, never heard from Dad again.
Mm-hmm.
And Dean tells him that anytime they were near Stanford, they would drive to campus and see Sam and check in that he was doing okay, but never mentioned a word of it to Sam.
I mean, when you have friction in the relationship, sometimes it's better to stay away, even though you still want to check up on, make sure they're okay.
A lot of that friction comes from what's a phrase? It's like insult you to your face, compliment you behind your back.
Right.
My mother was a fucking queen of that. Like, all of a sudden, her friends would be like, oh my God, you're Heather. You're the one who did this. Oh, yeah, this was so good. Like, your mother loved it when you did that. And I'm like, really? Because all she did was call me a lazy ass that time. Like,
yep.
I'm like, I didn't get a single compliment there, but apparently she was, talking it up to everybody. And that actually made me feel even more like she didn't actually care.
Mm-hmm.
She was just using me to make herself look good to her friends, which added a whole nother level of shit. Like, I understand
you think
where
she
Sam
was
is coming from.
judging you by like different standards rather than what she was judging your sister by? Because, I mean,
I think my sister forgave her for a lot more shit, so she liked my sister more.
Like, I remember, for example, my mom paying a lot more attention to my brother when we were growing up because he had like issues with like learning how to read and all spelling and all that stuff. I remember asking my mom, like, why do you spend so much time with him? You don't spend any time with me. She's like, oh, you're good. I don't need to worry about you. I need to worry about my brother. And it's kind of like left me on my own.
I've seen a lot of that too. Yeah. Where like, oh, it ends up that then you're teenagers and your little brother can't boil a pot of water to make macaroni and cheese, but you're the one changing the oil on the car out in the fucking driveway or something because you just figured it out. Yeah,
I mean, and then I feel like Sam. I mean, it's hard. You kind of always want to do like, I mean, kids at least always want to do like the opposite of what the dad or like the parents tell them to do. And I mean, this could be it. It's just he just treated Sam. He just gave them no options at all. This is what you're doing, and kids are going to rebel.
That's anybody does when you say when you take away free will. Essentially, that's what you're doing.
Because I think again, that I feel like going back to what I said before about the fact that Dean saw this, had already formed some sort of bond with his dad, experienced everything, and he kind of knows what he's fighting for. Deal like where he knows that this thing killed my mom. And that's maybe why he has
but Dean also has
better relationship with his dad.
Dean also has which he talked about in, what was it, the Shapeshifter episode when all their drama came out back then. Dean doesn't necessarily need to go hunting to avenge their mother. Like right now, he's not worried about tracking down Yellow Eyes the way Sam is because of Jess.
He's just trying to clean up or do the jobs. He's just
continuing to do the jobs. But he got into the hunting and stayed with Dad to quote unquote hold the family together. So
it's funny, I'm trying to go through like my photos of Reddit, and I took these screenshots of the post.
Screenshots of Reddit?
Well, because I wanted to make sure I had them to talk about them, but they are so like so it was such a long time ago to trying to prepare for this episode that I can try to find them through my scrolling through my phone and I can't.
Well, you're still better prepared than me. Everything electronic I have has already died because I don't normally bring chargers with me because a full battery will last me my entire day. Our day's now gone so fucking long that everything's dead.
So one of the funniest things of this episode was that Sam and Dean were confused for being gay, that they thought they were a couple.
I think this is the first time. Yeah.
Do you think that's where a lot of the stories, like the fan fiction, started from? Like,
I don't know. Oh, I was reading over the weekend. I was reading some J2 fics, and I gotta say, somebody send me some recs because I was not as impressed with those as I should have been.
Have you ever written any fan fiction?
Have I ever written any?
Yes.
I've kind of sort of attempted some pop slash back in the day, but I never really finished anything. I never published anything because I'm not a good writer. That's not my talent. My talent is consuming, not creating.
And so, trying to get back to the episode here real quick.
Yeah, let's actually talk about Supernatural instead of family drama. And
so, one of the things I found interesting was the token Indian guy that they were able to find and tell him the exact story that they needed to know about what was going on.
Random Indian chief sitting in diner.
And the story was like, he knew like the story word for word. Like his grandfather's grandfather told him the story from a
Passed
drunk,
down from generation to
yeah, from some
generation.
drunk guy, and he knew exactly what the story was. And they found the exact guy and knew exactly where to go. I was like, oh god, that was like a little bit corny. I was like,
Supernatural logic. You got to get through it in 40, however many minutes, 42 minutes.
but you were actually telling me that you didn't like all the Native American lore type stories. Did you? Is this one of the reasons why you didn't like this episode? Was because of the Native American stuff?
No. I mean, that stuff was okay. Like this episode, it just seemed like, what were they fighting? What was the resolution? They didn't break the curse.
No, that curse is still there.
The curse
Basically,
is still
no one's
there.
going to live there.
We're just gonna quote unquote make sure no one lives there. Guess what? In 20 years, somebody else is gonna come along and buy that land. And it's gonna start all over
but I
again.
believed it only happened at a certain time.
A certain time, right?
It was when the sun
Phases
and
of
the moon
Yeah,
met.
you know what? Fuck that phases of the moon shit. Once every 15 years. No, I don't like it.
No, and and Dean said there's no breaking that curse. There's no way to break the curse. You just gotta like get out of its way.
Bet Rowena could have done it.
Bet you she could have.
Yep.
So they end up realizing what the curse is, that there's curse actually on the land, and that the curse would use Mother Nature as their weapon. I mean, it would be kind of quicker if it had like a bunch of like a tornado or something,
Right,
rather than
I
bugs.
know.
Like just destroy everything.
Yeah.
But I guess bugs you could like more pinpoint what you're doing. I guess. No.
But their victims they picked were so random.
Well, remember there weren't that many people.
Poor little construction dude.
He shouldn't have died.
No.
He's just working his ass off.
And okay,
Trying to
and
make a penny.
something that another issue I had like right at the beginning of this episode. So guy falls down a hole. Screams for help. His buddy's like, "Oh, let me go get a rope." You can hear other construction workers in the background.
No
Like
one
you can hear
cares.
background voices and noises of tools or whatever. And he's yelling, he's screaming, "Help, help, help. I'm dying, help." Not a single other person like turns around or is like, "Oh my god." Like, where's the foreman
And he just
on this
died.
job?
He died way too fast. Like I would understand if like
He had time to yell help and nobody else was like, "What was that?"
yeah. That's a little funky. I mean, but please, that's way better than the lady getting killed by spiders in her bathtub. Like, okay, I see a spider coming. Like, for example, last night I had a lizard on the top of my bath, like on the ceiling of my bath. I was taking a shower. I was like, okay, God, if what's going to happen if like it falls on my head as I'm taking a shower? Like, am I going to panic? Like,
You're gonna panic, slip,
run through the
fall,
glass and stab
break your
myself in the neck? Right? Exactly. Like, that's
Crack
like
your skull
the
open.
dumbest thing ever. Like, calmly open the door. Come out. I just thought that was like dumb. And like, I guess she died. She died from breaking her neck?
Did she?
I think she did.
I don't remember. I kind of only half paid attention.
I don't think it even showed how she really died, but she
I
falls
just remember
through the.
spider bites because the kid had a spider earlier,
Yeah,
which is why they started to suspect him. But it wasn't him. He's actually a really smart kid who knew what was going on and blah, blah, blah.
well, yeah, he knew something was up. But Sam and Dean are confide in this kid. He tells him he's going to do his best to get the parents out of the house.
Oh,
And they can't convince him to get out. They go to the guy's house again, tell him you're in danger.
Well, what I loved was that conversation in the car when Sam is talking to the kid and saying, just make him believe you, like wanting to honestly communicate and wanting somebody to, and this goes back to his issues with his dad, like just wanting to, I'm going to say something, just believe me because you do.
Mm-hmm.
And, just do what I say just because. And then there's Dean who's like, just lie to say whatever they want.
Yep. Like, yeah.
And those are like two completely different things. Like, I'm like, I can't do that. I'm like, I can't be like, yeah, no, it's fine. I don't mind when I really do, because I will lose it holding that in.
So he tells the kid to lie,
Mm-hmm.
but the kid doesn't lie, which is a mistake. Because I
Yeah.
thought that was a pretty freaking good lie to get the parents out of there.
God,
I was like,
Dean
sweet.
was like
That
telling
was
me you
a-
have a sharp pain in your right side, like appendicitis. Like, damn, Dean, that's a
That
good
was
one.
slick. I was like,
that was a
really
good one, and I'm a little sad that I have nobody to lie to anymore.
Well, the
to
other good
use
lie was
that.
when they got confused for being a couple. He's like, "Oh, well, our father is, older in age, and he needs somewhere to to live."
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's a good lie. That was a good
Uh-huh.
little sneak one."
But then they ended up just going with a gay couple.
Yeah, why
when
not?
somebody else
Screw
was
it.
like, "You're gay, right?" Like, yeah, all right.
"Yeah, we have no ethnicity or sexual orientation."
I loved that. That was fun.
So the biggest issue I had with this episode was when the swarm of insects does come to the house. They are starting to basically they have to wait till the sun rises in order to for the curse to be over.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting attacked by these bugs who come out within so they're trying to fight it off. They jump into a room. He's trying to Dean's trying to fight it off with a little can of hairspray and a lighter. I'm like, come on, there's a billion bugs. You're not going to do anything, right? But the bugs start attacking. They start eating them, and then all of a sudden, morning comes. It was the fastest morning sunrise I've ever seen in my entire life. I was like, no, they did just not get saved by...
It was the summer solstice, don't you know?
It seemed like a 1 hour night. Like, it was crazy because the bugs are coming, even if it was...
And what does the curse think is sunlight? Is it sunrise, like the first second light peeks across the sky?
Yeah.
Or is it when the sun actually gets up and you can actually see what you're doing outside? Like,
what a failed curse. It didn't even do what it was supposed to do. Like, get the job done first and then go. I don't know. It was weird. But I think that the main, maybe even like the story, I mean, not the story, the bad guy, which were the bugs or the curse, that was like, that played second fiddle to the fact that this episode really started laying out the relationship between Sam and Dean and the dad. And then the worst part of the episode, I completely forgot about this, was the fact that Sam then wanted to really, really get a hold of their dad to apologize.
Yeah, that.
I was like, what?
I'm like...
He has all this hatred and now he wants to apologize?
For me personally, and again, I'm sorry for turning this episode into a fucking therapy session for myself. But see, for me, for the whole episode, incredibly relatable, that dynamic between Sam and Dean, what Sam's feeling, and I don't understand what Dean's feeling, but I have seen that in others before, so it's familiar. But then to just be like, oh no, you know what? My dad really did love me. All is forgiven. I'm okay.
Yeah, he's from seeing the relationship between Bug Kid and his dad. He then all of a sudden starts feeling guilty and then forgives him for all the shit that apparently he's been doing for years, all the way to college. Just from a little scene with this kid and his dad.
Oh, this kid and their dad made up. That means I really am being a horrible person. Like, no. Like, Sam, your feelings are valid. Stop it.
Yeah. And be your own person. I mean, like, you don't have to, like...
He tried.
Yeah.
Got pulled right back in.
Poor
Sam.
But it wasn't, I don't think, a fault of their dads or Dean's. It was really, it's in the future, you'll realize exactly why he got pulled back in again.
Yeah.
He kind of had it coming all along. It wasn't that he had any choice in it, but
I hate that.
Yeah.
Never having choice. I hate that.
Do you believe in fate? Like things are meant to happen and you have no ability to change them?
Not really. I believe that some things are more likely, that you have to work a lot harder to avoid them. But I don't believe in, on January 17th, 2019, I'm going to break my second toe. That's just fate.
Right.
This is a stupid example, but I don't think anything is 100% set anywhere.
I agree 1,000%.
Also, because anything that's going to happen is currently happening or has already happened because time is not linear. It's a wibbly-wobbly ball of timey-wimey.
I was watching a time travel episode of whatever show.
Like you do.
Doesn't matter. And they're talking about alternate timelines, and this timeline was affected because of this timeline. And I was like, change channel.
Yeah.
I was like, this is dumb.
You spend too much time on time travel, and all of a sudden your brain just explodes.
Yep. So this was probably one of the worst episodes we ever did. Just kind of short,
yeah.
But I did learn a lot about Heather, so that was good.
My bad, y'all.
No, that was very good. Listen,
I have mommy issues, okay?
We all have issues.
I think that's the first thing people learn about me when they meet me, though.
Mine are more with my dad, but
yeah,
not with my mom. My mom was good.
Never met my dad. Don't know his name.
Therefore, you don't have any daddy issues, I guess. Or lack of daddy issues.
Surprisingly few, daddy-related issues, yeah. For somebody who never knew their dad, I really have zero issues with that.
Let's talk about that.
I don't hate men. I don't hate marriage or anything like that. Yeah, that's weird.
Well,
Yay me.
Yeah, it could have been a good thing. Could have turned out even 10 times worse than you are already. Like,
oh God,
you've been more damaged if you had two of them coming at you at the same time.
I'd just be dead. I would have just given up.
So actually, I had one last thing written here.
Okay.
It was a question for you. Let me see if I can find it.
Haven't I talked enough?
No. I'm always interested in hearing what you have to say.
I feel like we need to talk more about Eric.
No, not today. We don't have that kind of time.
That's true.
What is the creepiest, crawliest? As I was thinking, because for me, I know which one it is.
Mm-hmm.
Creepy, crawliest, bug or reptile that you can think of. Like, what's like the thing that you would hate the most, like to find as you like walk into your shower?
Well, I can tell you the story one time of when I found a snake under my bed.
Ooh, my God.
Oh, I don't have my. That's right. I don't have my phone on me. I have a picture of it because it was just a few years ago because I live in an area with tons of, like, a lot of woods around.
Mhm.
And around here, like, at certain times of the year, those, like, not. Is coral the one that's not poisonous? The red, yellow, and black, but however you say the phrase where it's not going to kill you, where you don't end up a dead fellow.
So this wasn't a dead.
It wasn't
one.
a dead fellow.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I wake up and my cats are like acting all weird, and I'm like, "What are y'all doing?" And they're all kind of like looking around. So I'm like, "What is that?" I look under the bed, and there's a goddamn snake in the middle of my bedroom, under my bed. And I'm like, "How did you even get here? Like, how did you get in? Where did you come from? Like, how long have you been there? Did you slither across me in the middle of the night? Like, what is going on?" And then I had to try and get it out. Like, what do I do? I'm like, how do I capture a snake? How do I get the snake out? I'm like, oh, I had a fucking meltdown.
Wait, so how did you, first of all, so you noticed your cat's acting weird. Did you like they were like maybe like
they were
pawing
watching
at
it.
the bed or something?
They were watching it like they were, because like under my bed, you could see under my bed. And I could see them like, you know, on a chair, like one was on a chair, like looking down at something, and the other one was. It's very weird when your cats are 100% still.
And all just focused on the same thing.
Focused on something.
So you go down, you look under the bed, and you see, is it like balled up?
Yes.
So
what is that? Siri is
your
talking.
Computer? Oh, that's your phone.
Oh, I found my phone, so I can get that picture.
The phone was talking to you. Wait, so was it
Apparently Siri heard me say search for, it's very weird when your cats are 100% still in dollars.
Stealing dollars? It goes, has a picture of a cat in a top hat with a monocle holding a $100 bill.
Yeah. Oh.
But so was it the snake balled up when you found it?
Yeah, it was a little balled up.
Wait, how big was it?
It's fairly small.
Like how fat? Like hot dog fat or
a little thinner, from what I remember.
That's creepy.
But yeah, so like I kind of like I had to move my bed, threw a towel over it to keep it from moving. Oh, here it is. This is it outside after I tossed it out.
Oh, you're gonna have to post this on Facebook for people to see this thing. Ew! Oh my God!
Now that picture is taken close up. I kind of like leaned over to get a good picture of it.
It's thick.
So it seems bigger than it actually is.
It looks like.
But
I mean, still anything. If I found anything like this in my house, I would never be able to like walk in the house again.
Burn the house down time.
Yeah, it is burn the house. You gotta post that picture up.
Yeah.
So you put the towel over, you grabbed it with your bare hands or something?
No, like I tossed a towel over it and it kind of got into the towel. And then I forget, God, because this was a couple of years ago. I used something to
scoop it.
Yeah. Like, I kind of slid the towel into a laundry basket, you know, that you, whatever. Because that's where the towels were. So I kind of slid it into there. And then I dumped the entire laundry basket outside. Because luckily I have a door off my master right out onto a porch in our backyard, and I dumped it outside. And then like the really scary part for me was like then picking up each towel and kind of shaking it to make sure that the snake didn't end up back inside my house or whatever. But
my God,
yeah,
that's a horrible story. And then like was that night really hard to get to sleep because you ever feeling like every little breeze you felt or thing touch your face?
I was waking up to go to work, and I'm like, I'm going to be late for work. I'm like, I can't be late for work. I'm like, I can't miss work. I'm like, so I have to hurry up and get like, I was at one point like freaking out. Like, am I going to have to leave a snake here all day? I'm like, I can't leave a snake in here with my cats. What the fuck? Yeah,
because then, everything you do, if you like open the refrigerator, go to use the toilet, go to sleep, take a shower, you're looking for a snake.
That's something I do all the time anyway. I've heard way too many stories of things coming up the damn toilet. Way too scared of that. I never walk into a bathroom in the dark, like in the middle of the night. I don't care how half asleep I am. That light goes on, and we're making it very bright in there.
Yeah, my story is, and also that the fact is that you have nobody else to help you out.
That's
You're
true.
solo, which is even worse
It
because
was
you gotta
just-
live this horror, this nightmare by yourself.
It was just me and my cats.
Yes, that's
Although
even worse.
my cats were really very good, sidekicks. They alerted me because I could have just gotten up and gone along with my day and never known.
You think they would have defended you if you got an attack? Like scratch at it.
I don't think they would have been doing it to defend me, but they would have been doing it to attack the snake.
That is the
because that's
person
what they
who
wanna
gives
do.
me my food. Defend
don't-
her.
Cats do not care.
No.
They do not. They can love you, but they don't really have the kind of loyalty where they're going to die for you.
They're like, meh.
But they would have attacked because they like to attack things.
My story is I was asleep with my girlfriend at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and we're sleeping.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I hear a thud fall on the pillow next to me,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of woke me up. It was that big of a thud, and I didn't think anything of it. And then another thud, but this time the thud hit my girlfriend in the head, and it was. I mean, down here we have palmetto bugs, which are basically
No.
are basically cockroaches
Jesus.
on steroids with
Jesus.
wings.
Oh my god.
And it fell on her face.
Oh my god.
So she's like, "What the fuck just hit me in the face?"
Oh my god.
I go and turn the lights on, and there's a palmetto bug running across the top of
Oh
the
my
sheets.
God.
And I was like, "Holy shit! This is the biggest thing I've ever seen." She freaks out. So when I turn the lights on, I've never seen anybody literally jump out of bed. I'm not talking about oh, you quickly get
One
up.
of those cartoons.
She sprung out
Yeah.
of the bed and took off running, and it was one of the ones it was just flies at you.
Oh Jesus.
This thing was violent. Of course, after
Those
that,
things are they got hit by some kind of radiation.
Something
Honestly, whatever. The gamma radiation is what those
Yep.
things are. They are Hulk cockroaches.
I ended up getting it out with a broom and a dustpan type thing,
Mhm.
and trapped it in there, and then threw it outside. But I couldn't sleep comfortable for 5.
Yeah.
Was that the only one that was there?
No.
Where did that second, the first thud come from? There has to be another one.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking it fell and then kind of flew back up or something, and then fell again or something.
Maybe.
I have no
You
idea.
Keep telling yourself
But that was the last time that girlfriend slept over. She's like, "Fuck this shit."
Bye, Felicia.